Hey guys, this is a new toy that I got. It's the Ruger RXM. I want to talk about it a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit about what it is, my first impressions of it, what I think is going on, and what I plan to do with it eventually. And if you guys have any info about the RXM or some stuff that I should look into that I leave out in this video, definitely leave some in the comments. I would like to know what I should be looking for when it comes to upgrading this firearm. So here's what it is. Comes in a nice Ruger box. Ruger tends to make these nice inserts for their firearms. They even leave a space for an optic, which is nice. They've got your cable lock, which nobody ever uses. They've got an Allen wrench, which I believe is going to fit your optics plate, and I'll talk about these later. So I'm going to set this right here. Comes with a spare 15-round PMag from Magpul, and it's got one inserted in it. So we're going to drop the inserted magazine, no round in it. We're going to do a safety inspection, both visually and physically. Inspect the chamber, no round. Pull the trigger in a safe direction. And what do we have here? So Ruger made a Gen 3 Glock clone. They call it the RXM. What is interesting about the RXM is that it is serialized on the fire control insert, okay? Otherwise known as the fire control unit if you're used to Sig Sauer terminology. What this is it's a piece on the inside that houses the trigger that is inserted into your frame, and that's the serialized part. So you can easily swap out your frame. You can mess up your slide as much as you want. You can swap out your barrels. You can do anything you want. It's a completely modular unit. The downside to this is that modular units like this typically have bad triggers. I have a 365, I have a P320, both of which the trigger is slightly mushy, and even when I upgraded the trigger on the 365, you have either the option to reduce some of the take up to the wall or some of the travel for the reset, but you can't do both. You're basically stuck fixing one of the problems. So you're always going to have either extra take up on the travel or extra take up on the wall, which is terrible. I think that's bad. So what appealed to me about this firearm is that it is modular. I do really like being able to swap out the entire frame. Swapping out parts individually is really nice. I like that it's Glock. I don't like shooting Glocks, but the benefit of owning a Glock is that you can swap out parts with pretty much any company that makes parts, because most companies make parts for Glock. So I think that's really good. This is a Gen 3 with an optics plate. You're not going to see that very often. They only recently started putting optics cuts on Glocks, so Gen 5 usually and up. And it's got a tack rail. So this is going to be a semi-modular firearm for me to actually do all the upgrades and mess around with it as much as I want, and it's fun. Another cool thing that I think about what Ruger has done is they've included this stupid little rubber band. Okay, it doesn't matter much for most people, but when you're at the store looking at firearms and you don't know anything about firearms, you're looking at a big wall of black firearms about 6 feet away from you, and you can't tell what each of them are. So a lot of people are going to be sitting there being like, oh, do you have a Glock 19? Do you have a Smith & Wesson M&P 5-inch? Do you have... But when you see this stupid white band on the firearm on the wall, you know, that's an RXM. I wish more companies would do that. It's useless now. I already own it. I know what it is. Band can go away. Okay. What are some of the features about this that I like? Comes with Magpul PMags. Magpul PMags work great. Drop free from the firearm. Works really nice. The mag release is a little loose. So you can see there's a little wobble right there. And other than that, it functions great. The button depresses nicely. And you're not going to accidentally hit the button, okay? So if you have proper grip on your firearm, you're not going to accidentally hit that. It is not ambidextrous. It might be able to be swapped to the other side. I don't know. But it does come on the left side of the firearm where most right-handed shooters will want access to it. Magpul PMags make for great magazines. They're very cheap. They're very reliable. If you damage them, you spend another $10, you got another one. Okay, what else do I like about this? I don't typically like the Glock grip angle, okay? So what do I mean by that? Glock has a different grip angle than what I would consider to be the American 1911 grip angle. This is much more in line with the firearms that I'm used to. So I can shoot a Glock now, Glock, that has a grip angle that I am more accustomed to. And I really like that. This is going to line up better for when I take this out of my holster and try to target acquire my target than it would if it were a Glock. I would have to get used to the different grip angle so that I don't align my sights differently when I pull. Other things I like about this. I historically have not liked the Glock takedown. So these takedown pins right here that take the slide off, it's very difficult to do for me. I don't like pulling them both down on either side while trying to hold the slide back. I'm going to take this off screen. You'll see how fast I do it. It's not something that's really difficult to do on the Ruger RXM. So I don't know how YouTube feels about me taking a slide off on screen or even putting it back on for that matter, but you saw it only took me a few seconds, was able to do it pretty easily. This is not because I've practiced it. This is just, it's much easier to do on this than a Glock. I sometimes struggle to get Glock slides off. There's a very famous video of the ATF director failing to get a Glock slide off his firearm. And I think what he forgot to do is to pull the trigger, which makes sense. You might not want to pull the trigger while manipulating a firearm the way you would have to do to take a Glock apart. But again, it's not easy to do compared to most firearms that just have the lever that you swing down and then you remove the slide off. Glocks also historically have this flat wire spring. RXM also has a flat wire spring. I think it's on a aluminum guide rod. It might be steel. I don't know. Might be steel. But what's going on with that, and I'm going to put this back on to show you, is that Glocks have this horrible sound that they make when you rack the slide. So listen. Does that not feel like there's sand stuck in there? I don't like that. I like a much smoother slide. So I will be looking for a replacement for that. I just checked in the store today to verify that the Gen 5 Glocks also have that issue, and they do. The slide just sounds horrible when you rack it back. Not an issue if you're actually racking the slide the way you should, which is just quick, fast, don't pay attention to it. But if you're manipulating the firearm a lot, trying to, check your chamber to make sure there's no round in it, it sounds awful, and I really would like to fix that. So I will be looking into a spring replacement, recoil spring, not only to manage recoil, but to get rid of that awful sound. Okay, the slide stop. The slide stop feels cheap, just like on all Glock parts. Don't know why that is. I don't know why they can't figure out their slide stops, but for some reason, they've just like this little folded piece of metal that feels loose and cheap. But everything else on this feels really good. There's no large gaps. The biggest gap between the slide and the frame is right there at the front, but it's not that big, and you can't, like if I'm pulling on it, I can't really make it much bigger than that. So it fits really good. When you shake it, there's a little bit of wiggle, but I don't think it's a deal breaker. Magazine in, shake it. Yeah, nice fit for the magazine. Irons. The irons seem to have a tritium front sight, so that means you'll be able to aim this at night. You don't have tritium in the back, so this is just trying to acquire the glow in between your two blacked out posts in the back. I do like what they've done with this. They've rounded the back of these irons so that if you were to conceal carry holster this, these aren't going to be scraping your stomach, which is nice. They also seem to have rounded off the back of the slide. They did the same with the beaver tail, so it doesn't come to a point, which is nice. This needs some work. On the Icarus, I know on the SIG P365 you can add some weight in there, but this is just plastic fins, which could break. I don't think I'm a big fan of that, but it does seem like it will get the job done for now. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to put my sub TLR7 on here with the antimatter wing, if it fits. And then I'm going to put my Romeo X compact on here because this is an RMSC compatible optic plate. Why is it RMSC compatible? Well, the cool thing that Ruger has done, I'll see if I can flip to the page here. They have made a optics cut which is compatible with 3 different types of optics. It is ARM-R compatible. There it is. It is Delta Point Pro compatible, and it is RMSC compatible. And the way they've done that is they've created these little pins that it comes with, and you just drop the pins in these holes wherever they are drilled, and then these pins act as mounting plates. So you don't need to buy a optics plate for this. It'll just fit 3 different very common types of optics right out of the box. And I really like that. I think more companies should do that. In fact, we should probably just agree on an optic cut that we like and stop making these really weird footprints. We don't need to do that. Let's do better, guys. So, optic. I'm going to put my Romeo X on there. It is an RMSC compatible. And eventually I'll have a different frame and a different spring. And I'll probably put a new barrel in at some point, just so I can either, get a suppressor for this or a compensator or something. But I think it's really good as is. Out of the box, if you got this, you'd be very happy with it. It's a $419 firearm, and most places you can get it for a lot cheaper. I think today I paid $375 for this. But it's great. This is cheaper than a Glock. I think it comes with a lot more features than Glock comes with typically, and yeah, you'll be really happy with it. Out of the box, one of the other things I noticed is that this manual is very cool because it's a kind of a collaboration between Ruger and Magpul. It is both a Magpul and Ruger instruction manual. So not only does it talk a lot about the gun, but in here it also shows you how to take apart the magazines, like here, and how to replace things like the follower, the floor plate, and the spring. So real cool. Comes with stickers if you're one of those people that likes putting your stickers on your safe or whatever. The interesting thing is that it came with printed stickers for both Ruger, RXM, and Magpul, but then it also came with the real legit Ruger sticker. So Magpul apparently didn't want to add one in there. But yeah, this is the kit. I'm real happy with it. If I missed anything, left anything out, put a comment down and I'll respond to it. But more importantly, if there's something you think I should look into when I decide to start upgrading this bad boy, let me know. I will look into it. I definitely love to hear what you guys have to say. I like responding to all my comments, so that would be appreciated. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.